How can a workplace actively and effectively hire from more minority groups? Who's asked this question says that their team is currently 90% white. They're not getting the applicants, so how can they change this? Has anyone got any advice?
So we've just gone through a process. One of the things that we've done is really look at how we design our job descriptions actually and roles. And a lot of people talk about language, but it's also about boiling it down to what you're actually looking for. And we've had a number of managers really struggle with this because we tend to put a lot of gumph in our role profiles and descriptions, and actually all that gumph does is it tends to help people rule themselves out. So what you really need to do is really strip it away and think about exactly what it is specifically you're recruiting for. This is regardless of whether you're going to put it on a specific site that targets ethnic minorities or other people with diverse characteristics. Really kind of boil down to your essential, what specifically am I asking someone to do in this job? And I think if you can be much more precise about that, fewer people will rule themselves out. And that's kind of one of the things that we're starting to find.
Two things that I'd share that have been evidently most impactful: really challenging which suppliers we use for recruitment, and we read them the Riot Act. You bring us a diverse group of candidates, or if you've got one opportunity, you don't, you're out the door. Simple. Second, what's had a perhaps naively unexpected impact is making sure that our leadership teams are diverse. That has been so powerful. We haven't even had to go and look. And the numbers of people who've said, well, I joined because I saw you had a female CFO. I mean, in our market, it's not very diverse at all in every regard. And it just seems to that because there are people who believe they can't be what they can't see. And seeing that people are thriving and are developing and are being recruited into senior positions in organizations seems to really bring other diverse talent along.
But ultimately, when we talk about what can senior leaders do, I think the first thing is to have a truly diverse and equitable leadership group. And I mean diverse in terms of lived experience, and we have diverse voices, not just a diverse range of people from, say, the protected characteristics. It needs to be broader than that. So it's really, truly diverse. And I think also acknowledging as well that those people from marginalized communities, because of the society that we live in and the world that we live in, are more likely to be exposed to harm. And that means that harm is going to show up in the workplace. So we need to be really mindful of that.
When we bring new people in, we create new cultures, and you can't just expect to bring diverse people in and then be like, oh yeah, okay, so be okay with this dominant culture and experience a sense of belonging in something that you already may not have. It's so important that we are, I think what you said there, hearing, not just listening, but like hearing their experiences. It's a different level, isn't it, to fully really understand and retain and take in and take action on someone's lived experience.
And really looking at those policies that are attracting people in. So it's not just about trying to find a diverse talent pool, it's about creating an environment in which a diverse talent pool would like to come and work in. So looking at those, looking at your family policies and making sure they are diverse and inclusive for everybody, and that they make it realistic for you to attract a diverse range of people, so that they've got the support that they need once they're in.
And I think when we look at talent, we need to really look at it through that diversity lens. So using your data to ensure you're establishing how, on average, what is the retention of our female talent in comparison to male talent. When you intercept that with race and ethnicity, does that change? And why does that change? At what you and in law it is simpler because we have PQEs in terms of post-qualification experience as a lawyer, so we can see where there are peaks and troughs, and there wouldn't be any surprises that you can see where a bit of a drop-off would be, for instance, in women, where it's the stage where they go to thinking about having a family, and then it's looking at your policies. So do we have policies that are supporting family working? And oftentimes you can look at that from the lens of women, but actually if we look at it in terms of the family offering, so our paternity leave, our shared parental leave, as you enhance that, actually you inadvertently enhance the approach for women. And it's how do we look at some of those retention strategies and really apply that diversity and inclusion lens. And
we've experienced something similar on we've just recently done an anti-racism survey, and the feedback was, really positive, but it was the 20%, 30% who had experienced racism that we're focusing on. But it would have been really easy for us to say, oh, we're doing really well, aren't we? We're on 80% said that they've never experienced racism in the organization. So we're looking at that 20% now, and we're creating ways to delve deeper and understand the experiences of those members of staff.
The younger talent coming in now, they expect more. And I think that expectation that has changed, we HR, DED and I are responsible for equipping our business with closing that gap, the skills and training gap, and what that is now required in terms of supporting and nurturing diverse talent and what that looks like. I think the intent is there, but there is a real skills gap that is missing and that they don't know how. And it's a real vulnerability to say, you know what, I don't know. There's someone who's neurodiverse in my team. What does that mean? How do I support them? And it's really getting us as HR and EDI really need to support with that, because what's going to happen is assumptions are going to be made around the senior leaders who are actually really well intended to make good decisions, but it's actually lack of experience and knowledge that is creating those gaps and, dare I say, employee relations issues.